Screw you, Mr. Abrams. You and your adequate filmmaking. I'm a nostalgia critic. I remember it because it's adequate. And I assure you it will not be pretty. It will be very unpretty. Number 9. Sailor Moon from, well, Sailor Moon. Thank God, I don't think I could have taken much more of this. Oh my God, I can't take much more of this!
Why did you say all those mean things about me?
You're not real. You're just a thing that's not very real.
There's some things we forget about, some things we don't know about, and then some things we forget about. One of these things is films. I mean, the show was pretty much just about a kid who went to high school, and that's it. It was pretty much just about a kid who went to high school.
Adventure! Oh?
From what I can gather, it's a show pretty much just about a kid in the Bronx. And that's it. It's pretty much just about a kid in the Bronx.
Adventure! Oh?
What was it about? A teenage girl. And that's about it. Pretty much just a teenage girl.
Adventure! Oh!
Hey, come on, that's not very nice. Hey, remember how we used to just stand around and talk about how we used to just stand around? You don't? Let me tell you about it. We used to just stand around and talk about how we used to just stand around and look out! A horse! Are You Afraid of the Dark? Though not particularly frightening, Are You Afraid of the Dark was, well, not particularly frightening. But enough of all that. Let's move on to all that! All that meaning all that entails, but all that the TV series that was in fact all that and a bag of chips. But all that you know already because all of that... Alright, this joke is dead. Well, I mean, that's not an alligator, it's that's not an alligator!
You stupid sack of shit. So Zack breaks into the machine and figures out that the only way to turn off this Leviathan is to turn off the Leviathan. But don't worry, through the magic of... just magic, I guess, Hexus regenerates himself and comes back to life.
Still, even for all its nonsensical anarchy, Cool World did have, well, nonsensical anarchy. And I guess that is something to be admired. Number. After that, they take a stop at the toughest bar in the world that is literally titled The Toughest Bar in the World. Who wrote this? Hello, I'm a nostalgia critic. I remember it so you don't have to. This is a tale about the ship of dreams, about a young boy and a young girl who fall in love but are torn apart by their social class. And only at the height of their emotional commitment does the ship meet with disaster. Wait, no, that's James Cameron's highest-grossing film of all time, Titanic. My mistake. This is a tale about a ship of dreams, about a young boy and a young girl who fall in love but are torn apart by their social class, and only at the height of their emotional commitment does the ship meet with disaster. This is the story of Titanic, the animated musical. So, let's take a look at why the Pagemaster is not only dull, but why it's really dull. And they're only $7! That's like $7! Believe it or not, there was an age when Michael Jackson was a god. His songs were smash hits, his dancing was beyond compare, and women fainted at just the sight of him rather than fainting at just the sight of him. So, at the top of his reign, Michael Jackson released his cinematic opus, Moonwalker. A strange little ego trip that shows us that not only does Jackson know how to sing and dance, but actually, that's it. Sing and dance. That poor peacock with leukemia is actually Joe Pesci, playing the sinister role of, well, let's face it, Joe Pesci. That's right, it's Aladdin from, well, Aladdin. That's an interesting bit of trivia for you. This is the first movie to openly acknowledge that Chuck Norris is not only better than God, but in fact is a lot better than God. He's Hey, it's Winnie from the Wonder Years, the quiet, gentle bookworm who's always in an on-again, off-again relationship. Huh, I wonder who she's playing here. A quiet, gentle bookworm who's always in an on-again, off-again relationship. Awesome!
So we got the people firing in the desert, and firing in the desert, and then firing in the desert!
You'd think after Kazam, Shaquille O'Neal would have learned his lesson, to leave acting to, well, actors. But Because hey, who doesn't love a good game of cops and robbers? Well, okay, cops and robbers, but still, it was a good idea. Captain Crunch from, well, Captain Crunch. Count Chocula from Count Chocula. And of course, it's fucking Casablanca! My recommendation? See fucking Casablanca! But what about the supporting cast? The little people who make it possible for the other little people. There's a lot to get through, so let's take a gander. And it turns out the movie is, well, just that, a movie.
Focus!
Gee, for the real world being nothing like a movie we've just seen, this is in fact looking a lot like a movie we've just seen.
It's now between you and me.
So Young, who swore he would never fight again, is now fighting again. So the credits roll as we start off this classic American story about a classic American superhero in the classic American heartland of Italy. Unusual start. I'd give my right hand to get my right hand back! This is the top 11 Nostalgia Critic muck-ups.
It's fuck-ups, you fuck-up!
Okay, another drawing. Oh, but what? You can't even show the real building? You gotta show a drawing of it? What's the point of having a building if you can't have a building? Number 6. The Nativity. Well, yeah, sort of a no-brainer. The story of Christmas wouldn't be here without the story of Christmas. Oh good! We're back to the Wookiees. That was about, what, 20 seconds of Harrison Ford you just saw there? You know, when you hire the cast of Star Wars, we expect to see the cast of Star Wars, not these walking dog anuses all day. So instead, we're gonna take a look at the sequel, Ernest Saves Christmas. So, let's see why... Let's just see why. But Kevin Pollak comes in, dressed as Kevin Pollak, as he tries to lighten Arnold's spirits. Yes, one of the spider bites turns Smith into a monster, so what does he do? Kill himself by killing himself. Confusing. This movie is horrible. One of the worst. I mean, how can a movie have this much money behind it and be this bad? I mean, this bad. But their dumbass boyfriends have even more important things to do. Like being dumbass boyfriends. What a disappointment. So, let's see why the never-ending story should have ended. First, I'm talking about our main actress, who happens to play the main actress. Yes, the Care Bears were pretty big in their day. Disgustingly cute, disgustingly nice, and disgustingly marketable. How could any child not get wrapped up in their disgustingness? Your age is 1 to... I don't know, 1. You'll probably... But the other trolls suspect the pansy-growing pansy as they approach him outside. Oh, but thank God we still got the swinging tail gag. You'd think by the 97th time it'd be annoying. But it's not. It's really annoying.
Hey, are you the toy maker? I've been called many things.
One of them being toy maker. These are the moments you've seen a million times before, but for some reason you never get tired of. They were awesome when they first appeared, and they're still awesome now. And nothing can ever make them deteriorate their awesomeness. So, let's celebrate Independence Day with Independence Day. Sheesh, I felt like we barely knew her. That's because we did barely know her. Maybe if we didn't have 13 other characters in this movie, we would feel bad that this person dies.
And his position is very secure.
Yes, your job that we'll never explain or see you do makes much less than his job which we'll never explain or see him do.
And speaking of idiots who get caught in tuna nets, look, Mary Beth is an idiot getting caught in a tuna net. So you were satirizing a documentary about a person slowly going crazy while making a movie about a person slowly going crazy, and you yourself were slowly going crazy.
That made me cry, but you know, it was fun. I'm over it now.
They want to be punished? Alright, I'm not gonna read any more into this than I need to, though something tells me I'm gonna need to. So Rocky decides to fight Drago himself. This, of course, gets a lot of press from the... press. The movie is pretty much fixed around unfunny cartoon humor. Don't believe me? Here's an unfunny cartoon. That's far from saving the movie. It's horribly written, horribly acted, horribly directed, it's just horrible.
Choosing?
Is that Choker trying to Joker? Yeah, I'll admit, it's a little weird comparing gods. I suppose like before, it just sort of depends on your interpretation. Are you a God-fearing fan or a not God-fearing fan? Just look at the burning bush. It looks like something not of this world, but also something that can be soothing and comforting. The one in the Ten Commandments looks more like a cartoon than, well, the actual cartoon. Well, before I talk about the film, let's talk about the film. Oh, and just like those other Disney songs where the landscapes and grand visuals are stunning, this musical performance has spinning, and spinning, and, more fucking spinning! So we see that mankind has adapted into the Kevin Costner of blandness, Kevin Costner. The late comedian was definitely known as a stand-up.
Thanks for making a total stranger feel like a total stranger.
We know the movies definitely have flaws, but what about the television show that turned these reptiles into household names? I mean, after they were already household names. This is one of the worst slaps in the face to a really great movie since the last slap in the face to it! And Pips, Krista's possible boyfriend / possible brother / possible friend. Possibly.
Hey! She did it!
I was just pulling that out of my ass when I said she could really do it, but by God, she can really do it! It's a trick actors love to use, overcompensating one side to make the other side look more threatening. It looks silly, but it looks silly. And what the hell was that sound? What, was he passing gas while passing gas? Okay, film 101, guys. When you do a transition, you want something that actually transitions, not incredibly distracts from everything. So, what better way to start off The Karate Kid than by looking at The Karate Kid? This is the best Karate Kid. Indeed, Mr. Miyagi has become an iconic image of the old wise martial arts teacher. But Jackie Chan really is an old wise martial arts teacher. So again, this is a pretty close call. Mr. Miyagi, on the other hand, never explains why he had Daniel wax his cars and paint his fence. Yeah, it's teaching him karate, but why the hell didn't he just, I don't know, teach him karate? In the original, I don't know what this guy's problem is. He's just a fucking asshole who wants to start a fight because he's a fucking asshole. So while Wiley gets his ass kicked, Wiley, Mitchell starts to hit it off with the ladies.
And we're somebody. This is our chance to prove it. But we can only do it as a team.
We gotta show them that picking on people because they're different isn't right! Will you help us, person we recently picked on because he was different? So they race downhill, and they race downhill, and they race downhill. Indy, if you honestly think these two are worth dying for, they ain't. Trust me when I say, your Willie is not worth saving when she acts like, well, your Willie. His voice was annoying, the character was annoying, the fact that he never shuts up was annoying, God, he was annoying! That's right, folks. Jaws 4 is the unnecessary sequel to the unnecessary sequel of the unnecessary sequel. It kick you when you're a guppy or something? I'm sorry, I know I'm dwelling on this, but I wouldn't concentrate on this aspect of the revenge if the movie wasn't called The Revenge! So, strangely enough, this version also focuses on talking mice that snuck aboard the Titanic. You mean somebody actually found it necessary to rip off the rip-off?
Simply breathtaking.
This is Rose. I mean Elizabeth. First. You wretched beast, I'll get you for that! Oh, it's not like I can just go up there and get you for that! I'll just throw my hat, that'll teach you!
I don't know how many of them we'll be able to save! Oh, no!
It's not like he can just grab the iceberg and push it out of the way. Oh wait, yes he can. Why don't you just grab the iceberg and push it out of the way? Hey, it's the continuing adventures of Sugar Bear. Kids nowadays may not know this, but cereal commercials back then were actually sort of like, well, cereals. They were soap operas with cliffhangers and lingering storylines. It sucks all the romance out of it and shows the emptiness that such an obsession will ultimately get you. It's not a happy ending, I guess, but it's not a sad ending either, I guess. We see later that she goes to the crime boss, I guess, and sees if she can get out of working for them. Now, of course, this has to be a very risky, very hard to do process, or else she clearly could have just done this from the beginning.
I want out.
Goodbye, my child.
Well, to say that was disgustingly easy would be an insult to those who work hard to do things that are disgustingly easy.
Hold a qualifying race.
So the old lady's concern, that really causes no concern, is getting a lot of attention around town about the race. But the day of the first big race to get into the other big race has finally come, and
I thought you were a man.
I thought we had something like special, but now I see we have something like not special! Wraps up the first episode as we enter episode number 2, Wrong Way and Wrong Way. But then the evil wizard named Evil Wizard sends out his 2 henchmen, so they stop her from getting to the castle as they take her to the castle. What Hatter? Who apparently was smart enough to lead people to the princess's location, but not actually smart enough to save her himself. You know, the lack of logic of the character's lack of logic really lacks of logic.
Hello, I'm Batman. I remember it because I'm Batman.
The story's beyond unrealistic. The characters are cartoons of cartoons.
Your problem, Mr. Coons, is that you don't appreciate the finer things in life.
That's true. He doesn't appreciate the finer things in life. Like killing a good chunk of those finer things in life. There's being mean in a movie, and then there's being the devil. This is being the devil's devil. The devil goes to when the devil's not being devilish enough. The plot is outlandish. The kids would have been bear chow in seconds. The gun-toting maniac plays the gun-toting maniac. Yes.
Melvin, the brother of the Joker, Emo Jones, this recent Let's Play, Nazi Germany. That is all.
Okay, if we could keep the questions to actual questions, that'd be fantastic. Yes. So as they drive off to meet Mother, you may notice something very odd about the people of London in this movie. There's no people of London in this movie! So they go back to Sean Connery's house where he has a devious plan for them both. He fights off Mr. Steve just so he can let him go and run away, after capturing Emma Peel just so he can let her go and run away.
What do you want?
So she meets Mr. Dudley the caretaker.
I'm Mr. Dudley the caretaker.
God! I could write a book about how shitty this remake is! Actually, I did! It's called How Shitty This Remake Is! It's a pretty easy read! All it contains is the word this movie sucks, this movie sucks, this movie sucks! So just as they save her and take her away, Neeson encounters his own encounter. So both Doug and Patty sign on for the dance committee, but only Patty gets chosen. The other position goes to a guy named Guy.
Guy Graham, upper class.
This is one of those movies that tries to tell you it's shocking, poetic, and deep, when it really just takes elements from other movies that are shocking, poetic, and deep, and forgets to give it a story and characters that are actually shocking, poetic, and deep. But thank God it's showing the people who already know that child abuse is bad that child abuse is bad. It's not like the real world meets something odd and whimsical, it's weird-ass shit meeting weird-ass shit! Okay, this is making the Yellow Submarine look sober. It's just pointless nonsense on top of pointless nonsense! Why didn't they just open the theater? I mean, if they decided to start off with a bordello, why couldn't they just turn it into a theater now? This place is crawling with riches, so why do they need this Duke fellow to throw money at them when literally the audience is throwing money at them?
The Duke decides he wants to fund their show if it means getting into satines.
So, the whore he said he would never be manipulated by, he is now letting himself be manipulated by, it just so happens she's telling the truth? And turn the story into a cohesive whole.
Never realizing that he himself is a cohesive whole.
So, even though she knows absolutely nothing about this person, Lisa tells Mary not to marry. How many of these trap doors does this guy have? It's like the Underground Railroad if it was literally an underground railroad! So the crew is back in form, they're happy a big bang was set off by a big bang, and they go off to where no man has gone before.
Whoa.
Oh, for God's sake, it's just a cut on his hand. Would it kill this movie if you just killed this movie? Yeah, yo, monkey in the house! Fucking A, I wouldn't expect this movie to do anything different that wasn't anything different. By the way, you notice something seriously lacking in Thomas the Tank Engine? Yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine! He's barely in this! Yes, in another top 11 list, the top 11 nostalgic mindfucks, I say that the intro to Pee-wee's Playhouse is, well, a nostalgic mindfuck.
It's a pan, not a pot, you stupid...
But his life isn't all just fun and games. There's also the importance of keeping up the illusion that his life is not all fun and games.
Oh, I don't think that'll be necessary, Lawrence. I mean, after all of our real valuables are locked in the rich family vault.
So he makes the incredible discovery that the rich family is rich. 1986 Michael Mann film Manhunter. And holy shit, that's not Hannibal Lecter! I thought he was a British guy with his hair slicked back. Not a British guy with his hair slicked back. Okay, there's some similarities. Thomas Harris's books are always filled with colorful characters, and these characters are just as colorful... Best supporting cast. So Turner turns her into Jackie Paper just as Gar starts to pointlessly wake up. That apparently was code for if I zap this thing, I'll be entrapped in it for all eternity. You know what would have been more constructive and explanatory? If she said, hey, if I zap this thing, I'll be entrapped in it for all eternity.
So, Kojak the Barbarian makes it back to the clearly evil guy's base just in time to discover that he's clearly evil.
Gets a job at the power plant where he comes across Homer Simpson. Obviously the exact opposite. Everything was handed to him, he has no idea about sacrifice, and is as dumb as, well, Homer Simpson. Sometimes the jokes and characters can simply come from the jokes and characters. They're that good. The Halloween episodes are a great excuse for The Simpsons to do whatever they want. You know, before they start doing whatever they want. It's not well written, it's not well directed, it's not well acted, it's not well. Okay? So let me enlighten you as to why this film is not well. This is Signs. They meet for lunch in a restaurant when we come across another staple of M. Night Shyamalan, M. Night Shyamalan.
Speaking of the insulting use of black people.
Mr. K. Oh, finally. Listen, I went to the graduation. Remember the kids we got from Thailand?
Yeah.
My goodness.
I'd make a joke about how phoned in this cameo is, but it's literally phoned in. She makes the appearance via camera phone. God, I haven't seen a Whoopi Goldberg call-in cameo this bad since the other Whoopi Goldberg call-in cameo she did.
You know, I can't tell if this scene is really creative or especially lazy. I mean, it's kind of neat that parts of the subway come to life, but then again, it's just parts of the subway coming to life! You just put teeth on garbage cans! What's next? A drawer that eats people?
A drawer! A drawer! Oh my god, a drawer! Drawer!
Well, what do you consider unusual circumstances?
Anything we're not prepared for.
So in other words, unusual circumstances equals unusual circumstances.
This looks like a job for the Expendables, Part 3. Oh, no, it's not the coolest action stars of all time never getting hurt. It's just the expendable people being expendable. But you know what? That's kinda cool!
So she finds out they were building a little hideout for each other and that the girl she had no reason to hate, surprise, she has no reason to hate. But that doesn't make it smut until Part 4. And even then, the rewards of such an act are not rewardy. If he constantly gets letters and numbers backwards all the time, then how the hell did he read the cheat sheet? Dipshit, just imagine those letters are up on the board! Because guess what? They are up on the board! They will haunt me forever! Nobody should ever have to see the terrifying terror that this movie produced! I mean, here I thought the most important thing about the Nostalgia Critic was the Nostalgia Critic. But no, it's the color of the fucking wall. That's the glue that held everything together. So he scares the little kid by showing him something he never thought he'd see on a hunt for dinosaur bones. A dinosaur bone! Ah! But Nidri has to hurry with those embryos or else the obvious video that everyone in the audience said was an obvious video. Seriously, you can crop that shot just a notch. Maybe like the rest of the film, it assumes it can supply a decent comedy by supplying no decent comedy. And many would agree that it is a good flick. Good characters, good story, good animation, more than enough material for both kids and adults. It's an awesome piece of awesome awesomeness. So he takes a road trip to Elaine's school and proposes that they keep going out. In fact, he proposes that he proposes. That's right, he asks her to marry him. You know, King, you have a talent for taking things that are very obviously not scary and keeping them very obviously not scary.
Thought. You know what? I don't know what I thought.
Oh, Jesus! Do something! I mean, how far along are we again? Do something! And because Shyamalan can never start a movie without important-looking text, here's some important-looking text.
These things are made to bounce trucks off them.
Well, thank God nobody on a busy street reported a bread truck with a dead guy embedded on it like Wile E. Coyote with a driver who seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth, rolling backwards into oncoming traffic, bouncing off cement blocks into a parking lot of somebody's store. Maybe they just thought it was the bread truck with a dead guy embedded on it like Wile E. Coyote with a driver who seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth, rolling backwards into oncoming traffic, bouncing off cement blocks into a parking lot of some guy's store. Man!
Okay.
The speakers are busted, so only the security team can talk to them, and not they to the security team. This gives obvious jackass plenty of time to be an obvious jackass. Oh my God! The devil was the devil! You know, in hindsight, I probably should have seen that coming.
Foolish mortal.
Seeing how Zod's army fought off this world's equivalent of White House security so easily, it only makes sense that Jor-El should be able to fight off Zod's army that broke through this world's equivalent of White House security so easily. I think. He rides on his dragonfly dragon, picks up yet another subplot, because Lord knows we... So after countless moments of intense scenes and harsh action, what is this flashback gonna show? Some intense scenes and harsh action. Ladies and gentlemen, because you've never seen the destruction of a major city in a summer blockbuster before, we give you that thing we just said. You wouldn't even know that this was Clark Kent or Lois Lane if they didn't call them Clark Kent or Lois Lane. And I'm sorry, that Christmas was awesome. I don't care if it's out of place. A crazy-ass Christmas celebrating the dark and insane parts of humanity might be welcomed. You know, apart from the Christmas celebrating the dark and insane parts of humanity we're already aware of. This is a very forgetful Santa. And I don't mean that as in the character is forgetful, I mean that as in the character is forgetful. He has a bad memory. He has so many of the elements needed for a good Santa. The hard worker, the jolly laugh, the weight of his importance, as well as, well, the weight. Why do we lie to their faces when at one point we have to acknowledge that we lied to their faces? Well, there's a couple different ways of looking at it. Because there's so many details you can play with, and so many stories you can add, and so many things you can change. All these create your own unique fantasy and giving your child their own unique fantasy. Together with director and professional dub fetishist John Woo, for literally the most overblown action flick since... Well, okay, John Woo's next overblown action flick. And just to add extra security to the immediate danger, we will add no extra security to the immediate danger. Blaze agrees, of course, to make a contract with him, and his father is miraculously saved from certain death, only to accidentally slip into certain death. But finds he can't become the writer when the sun comes up. So the badass in the cool coat fights the whiny rebellious goth kid half his age as little demons fly into his body, making him the most powerful entity in the world. Oh, I'm sorry, I was reciting the climax to Blade. How silly of me. Here's the climax to Ghost Rider. The badass in the cool coat fights the whiny rebellious goth kid half his age as little demons fly into his body, making him the most powerful entity in the world. God, silly me confusing the two. I just got back watching Frozen tonight, not a bad scene to be. See, the music's so damn awesome, and it fit the film perfectly. The caterpillar reveals the great big shocking twist. Are you ready? Oh man, this is gonna blow your mind. Are you ready? It's so shocking, you're not gonna believe. Okay, you ready? Here we go, here we go. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Alice, this whole time, was Alice. Going to die. Wait, what?
Alice. At last. What do you call yourself?
Alice.
Whoa, wait a minute, movie. So, are you suggesting that the Alice from Alice in Wonderland this whole time was Alice from Alice in Wonderland? Whoa, I mean, fucking whoa, this movie is pushing the envelope of cinematic twist. I mean, who could have seen that coming? Next you'll be telling me that Clark Kent all this time was Clark Kent. Where are the other guys? Wouldn't it be great to see Ka in there? Or Ka? We were given a show based on a movie 5 years old that had nothing to do with the movie that was 5 years old. Sir, what do we do? Why not follow the only helicopter in the sky with the Joker's face on it and see where it goes? Nah, that would make as much sense as stopping the Joker during the parade. Why didn't they stop the Joker during the parade? So we see a store closing down for the night called Marketopolis Market. Redundant, much redundant? And now, finally, we learn the big, disturbing, shocking twist. The villain of the movie the whole time was the villain of the movie. Heck, he even goes after Odette, trying to avenge Odette.
A swan. Of course.
Oh no! Instead of confessing his love to Odette, he confessed his love to Odette! Wait, this makes no sense. And the entire climax is only under 2 minutes long. I guess I shouldn't be complaining, it is mercifully short, but Yeah, fuck it, I'm not complaining. It's mercifully short. This Onceler is a super young, electric guitar playing, tight clothes wearing, fedora hat toting, pop cultural referencing, Zach Braff completely dated product of the times. Yeah, sure, they made us think, but look at it this way. They made us think! Ah! Groundbreaking genius? Oh no, science. Owner of a booming, profitable business? Oh no, science. Science, science, science. Science? Oh no, science. Is there really a forward and reverse setting in his seat? Does it take gas? Is it unleaded? I'm sorry, this really bothers me. It bothers me. So, yeah, the movie's pretty much emphasizing you'd have to be a goddamn idiot to go here, so we see some goddamn idiots who decide to go here. This leads us to Dr. Grant, a man who says he has no interest in returning to Jurassic Park unless he's paid a shit ton of money. He's played by Sam Neill, a man who says he has no interest in returning to Jurassic Park unless he's paid a shit ton of money. Hey, can't fault good casting. She finally rides to confront Kagan, and what's her ingenious plan to get in without getting herself captured? Getting herself captured. I feel like she missed a step there.
But it's okay, because Mullet 1 and Mullet 2 have an even better plan to get in without getting themselves captured.
Has the film just given up? While we're on the subject, 3/4 of the film is pointing out why a lot of the actions in, well, action movies couldn't happen in real life. It's possible that one of the ways Sanford wants to be a model city is to literally have a model city. Keep talking about a movie that's definitely worth talking about. They clean up the place, but half the annoying parents from Transformers comes in to be, well, half the annoying parents from Transformers.
And how do you explain this?
He finds her hiding from her servants.
Shh. Why are we whispering? I'm hiding from my ladies' mates.
Because I'm not about being pampered and materialistic, except while I'm being pampered and materialistic.
This is so cool!
They may be enemies, but they're very similar. They're ruled by the bad choices they made in the past, and their guilt decides their actions. While one hides behind fun and games, the other hides behind ruthlessness and discipline. Two different but similar outcomes from two different but similar starting points. This time around, there's no excuse. This is the only time we'll ever see Stephen King on Stephen King. That is until Tumblr is born. In fact, isn't driving around constantly in a circle wasting their goddamn fuel? You're fucking wasting your lifespan trying to get your lifespan. No, just no.
Press your tummy, now look inside. Diaper surprise!
Just no! Laser Tag Rocky was literally Laser Tag Rocky. Who can compare with that?
You looking for something? A Coke!
Wait a minute, so there's two commercials going on here? There's actually a product placement in the product placement.
But the bullets,
This gun hasn't been fired.
You're worried about the bullets from the gun and not the obvious fingerprints you're leaving behind? Boy, let's pray CSI is as stupid as the show CSI. I don't know, you're just not making as many long-winded speeches as usual.
We're just making sure that you don't stumble across anything. Segue into another conversation.
Well done.
So, because you found the first boring Oracle talk in the boring Oracle room so not boring, here's another boring Oracle talk in the boring Oracle room that you will definitely find boring. Well, the world loves to reward the insane, and this is the fruit of their labor. Hey, you paid for it, so it only makes sense that you should pay for it.
Okay, that was literally him betraying his roots. And that's something I got a problem with.
You know, it's brave that this special tells a story about people making productions with no money put into it at all, by having it made by people making a production with no money put into it at all.
Because you love our film versions of Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. Even though we already have film versions of Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. Why'd I do that?
I'm finally gonna follow through on my loving the car joke! Only to have no reaction, thus not following through on the loving the car joke. Joe Pantoliano comes in playing Robert Wall minus the humor, before he became Robert Wall minus the humor.
Brain behind operation is literally brain behind operation.
Alright, let's go kick some foot! That's surprisingly not redundant. April can be a grown woman, or a 15-year-old girl, or a 15-year-old girl, but the Hulk wasn't that great, but it wasn't the Hulk. That's right, he had it made! And then he had his maid, and everything went downhill from there. How, you may ask? By using the all-powerful Sunstar, an ancient device of age in this that does all sorts of great magical stuff if used right. For a lighthearted bit of fun, it was exactly that, a bit of fun. When you have to put that before your movie, almost like you're trying to already set the curve pretty low, well, let's just hope the family enjoys it, because for the rest of us, let's just hope the family enjoys it.
Hot lava.
What the hell?
Where's Lava Girl?
What the hell?
It's up to you now, Max. We believe in you, Max.
What the hell? You know, General Patton used to say you'll gain strength when you look into a pile of goo that's a best friend's face. Well, I'm looking into a pile of goo that's a best friend's face, and I'm scared fucking shitless of it! Well, I am here to expose this fraud for the fraud that he is. So they attack Kevin Baugh, who has clearly too good a sense of humor. But he's able to defend himself by, oh gee, I don't know, defending himself. So they nixed the old plan of just beating the shit out of him in favor of a new plan of just beating the shit out of him. Well, sort of. You see, the downside here is that Mati,
from Captain Planet,
wants to come along too. But nobody wants him because, well, he's Mati.
from Captain Planet.
Just like sci-fi movies? You won't after this. This film does for science fiction what Disaster Movie does for disaster movies. But a prick named Prick has come in to steal Spoonie for that was to boldly flee. And what a shock, it made me want to boldly flee.
She's a small wonder, a child unlike other girls.
Well, what's more important than freedom of speech being threatened by insecure goons? Complaining how their freedom of speech is being threatened by a bunch of insecure goons. You're kidding, right? But as we said— Oh my god, we've watched him from birth, kept him in captivity, and know everything there is to know about him. How can we possibly know everything there is to know about him? The owner decides he wants to help stop Coke 2 by flying a helicopter to shoot at it. They even play this triumphant music like, yay, he's doing the smart thing. But despite everybody telling him he's gonna end up dying, he eventually ends up dying. Oh no! Yeah.
Sit back and enjoy an overly unqualified twit rip apart terrible movies and shows, even though he's made terrible movies and shows. Witness him clarifying when an obviously bad film is obviously bad.
So, Wahlberg picks his way out of the easiest prison to break out of ever, while helping the other humans break out of the even easier prisons to break out of ever. Gee, it's a shame these things haven't created Steel. Oh, fucking wait! You have this main character feel that we want to emphasize as interesting because we forgot to write you interesting. What followed was a painfully painful bit of pain that's so bad that even Murray's talent couldn't save it. Are you trying to go for the Goomba Award and making something that looks like something not look like something? The internet has gone insane with how much they hate this movie. It's this year's Fantastic Four. I mean, before this year's Fantastic Four.
No room for people who watch public television!
No room for commitment!
Amen! Come on.
As someone who likes to make fun of religious practice, I hate that you won't commit to that religious practice. And that was the awkwardly ending, awkwardly beginning, awkwardly Stephen King. If you don't find that especially creepy, then you're not gonna find this especially creepy.
As an adult, I insist on a cereal that offers nutrition. Frosting! I want frosting!
Yeah, remember these? These were the Frosted Mini Wheats commercials that advertised to both adults and kids, as adults and kids. It's a tough one to watch whether you're a Turtles fan or not. So, sit back and enjoy, as it might be the last thing you ever sit back and enjoy. This is We Wish You a Turtle Christmas.
But one stormtrooper named Finn is shocked that being a psychotic killer means being a psychotic killer, so he breaks Poe out.
Do you need to go back to Film 101? I think most people know this. You don't give away the twist before you give away the twist! I know the phrase, how can you make this shit up, is a common phrase, but really, how can you make this shit up? I'd say Boulder Dash if I actually got to see a Boulder Dash. Whether it's to hear somebody say smokin' or literally see somebody smokin', there's two different versions. After reading a slew of actors thinking to yourself, oh yeah, they were a thing because they were in that thing. But the studio was concerned just having the two of them wasn't enough. You know, seeing how a show's success isn't based on a show's success, but rather how many toys you can sell. Is it as bad as everybody has built it up to be? Well, how do I put this? I'm kind of more disappointed that I'm not more disappointed. It's a pretty damn good psychological analysis without being, well, literal psychological analysis.
See, their morals, they're only as good as the world allows them to be.
I'll chase him around the moons of just this moon until I give him up.
So maybe if we throw in the original cast you love to remind you how much it's not the original cast you love, it'll go a lot easier. Just who is the bad guy who's been making these machines enhancing paranormal activity, trying to destroy the world? Some asshole. Yeah, I don't even remember if he has a name, it's just some asshole. I guess I can't act like Gozer had a lot of screen time or a ton of character, but there was at least a backstory and some intimidation about her. This guy isn't intimidating or funny, he's just some asshole. So let's keep the Nostalgia Ween tradition going by looking at his 2003 film, The Story Where Aliens Come Out of People's Butts. I mean Dreamcatcher, I mean The Story Where Aliens Come Out of People's Butts. Our four psychic friends meet up yearly in their cabin in the woods to be in their cabin in the woods. I don't know, I don't get camping. It's like Adventure Time meets X-Files. There's no other show like it. Except maybe Adventure Time and X-Files. But together! The winks and jabs in this are just as funny as the, well, winks and jabs in the original games.
Where in the first film she was at least passable and clearly trying, since most of the movie was about her, here she sounds like a lifeless computer generation than the actual lifeless computer generations.
Imagination, the humor, all the fun stuff that made the first film so cool. You can make Through the Looking Glass actually like Through the Looking Glass, unlike Through the Looking Glass. Don't give it a complicated story about prophecies or Narnia ripoffs, just do mad people acting like mad people and you'll have something great. So with one couple founded on adultery happy, let's see if we can make another couple founded on adultery happy.